Speed. When I mention speed within the context of a 3D platformer, I bet your first thought is Sonic. And you wouldn't be alone in that thought process. Many 3D platformers don't embody speed quite like Sonic. A few weeks ago, I saw a clip on Twitter that immediately piqued my interest. It was from a game called Orbo's Odyssey. This was a short clip of the main character zooming through the environment, and I was immediately hooked. I quickly went to Steam to wishlist it as soon as I could. Many weeks passed and the game released. Initially I held off on buying it, but I kept coming back to its Steam page, and it had insanely good reviews. 217 reviews and 98% positive, so I bit the bullet and I purchased it. 2 days after I bought the game, I finally got around to playing it, and it immediately grasped my attention through the tutorial.
Front flips are a fantastic way to avoid hazards, impress your friends, and win any debate.
The tutorial alone felt very comprehensive and accessible to any skill level, even giving the opportunity to learn extra movement tech that is helpful but not necessarily needed to progress.
You may use the hall to your right to learn about some more advanced techniques.
The movement takes a few moments to get fully used to, but once you have the hang of it, you are zooming through the environment and always trying to use the movement to get to any spot that you imagine might be concealing a secret. Anything you can see, you can probably get on top of. Your first 10 to 20 minutes will be very experimental, spamming buttons and seeing how all the movement tech combos together, and when it works, it feels so satisfying. There were times where I accidentally found secrets from spamming moves together while trying to experiment. Speaking of secrets, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are secrets throughout the levels that may or may not contribute to an alternative ending. The plot of Orbo's Odyssey is that you play as Orbo, who enters his boss's office just to be told that the door was unopenable as he let it close behind him, as Orbo and his workmate Peeb don't have arms to open the door. By the way, Peeb is the GOAT. This little dude is a legend. Just look at these little faces he makes in almost every sentence. By the way, Peeb had his own game demo a few years ago, but from what I could see, he never had a full release of his game. Anyway, back to the plot. Your new quest is to create an arm out of scrap you find throughout levels, so that you can open the door and escape your boss's office to leave work. You are now tasked with exploring parts of the office you had previously never visited, exploring and finding parts to make your prosthetic arm. The game feels super fresh for a 3D platformer. It feels like it's found its own voice and stands out amongst the crowd. It's such a unique feeling platformer that it feels like it would be a disservice to it to compare it to any existing competitor. The game gives the player the power of expression through its movement system, making each level feel a lot less linear than it looks. The game only takes about an hour and a half to beat, or 2.5 hours if you're a completionist, but it's also pretty cheap, so I think it's absolutely worth the price tag. Overall, the game was a blast to play, and beatable in one sitting. The gameplay is the embodiment of schmovement, and you'll have a large grin across your face throughout the whole game.